Hey everybody, how you doing? Jerry here. Wanted to show you guys Friday's huge sell-off and the price action that happened and how I capitalized on that. So if you're interested in how I trade, please click the link below and you guys can watch this. Like, subscribe, do all that crazy stuff that you guys know about. So anyways, I have support and resistance is not marked on anything particular. I trade the 10 to 11 a.m. session, and I trade from 2 to 3 session as well. So 5 days a week in the morning times, and then 4 days a week in the afternoons. I don't trade Friday afternoons typically. I did take a handful of smaller size trades this Friday with this massive sell-off we had. The price action was absolutely incredible. So the volume can be a little bit lighter on Friday afternoons, and truthfully, like I've usually had a really good week, and I just don't want the screen time. But when SPY's giving money out like an ATM machine that's broken, you got to capitalize on it when you can. So here it is. I'm going to break down some of this really insane moves that we had. My chart is zoomed in pretty tightly here, so I'm just going to move some stuff around so you guys can see what I was looking at. And I'm just going to clump all of my lines together, and then I'm going to review the whole Friday session of what was going on and what I seen in real time and how this worked. So I took several trades on Friday. I do trade in a margin account, so I have unlimited trades to work with there. However, the amount of setups, and depending on how you're sized, there's absolutely just brilliant price action that happened this day. So I'm just going to clean up some of this and just bear with me as we go through this in real time. There is so much room, big candles, lots of volatility happening. So I mark the previous day highs and lows. Those are liquidity zones from the day before. I also mark the pre-market high and low. That is the London session. I also mark the aftermarket highs and lows. That is the Asia session. These are all key levels from other sessions in the market that we trade. So then I look for support and resistance with continuations and rooms into underlying support or overarching resistance. So very simple strategy that I use. If it fits that criteria, I take the trade. If it does not fit that criteria, I do not. I am very strict about my time windows that I trade. I will trade up till 11:30 if price action is good, and I do not trade between 11:30 and 1:30. Hard rules for me, I do not do that. Those are just lower volumes. My back testing shows that I have a lot more inconsistent win rate and follow-throughs with the strategy that I use. And a lot of it is I just don't want to be on the screen that much. I signed up with this program about 3 years ago. I've been profitable for over 2 years now. And for me, one of the biggest things is how much money I can make with 1 to 2 hours of screen time a day. Not this, I'm going to be on the charts from when the market opens to the market sleeps. And if that's something that you enjoy, there's plenty of ways to capitalize with this same strategy, just slight modifications, and you can make that happen. However, I don't like that much screen time. For me, let's capitalize on a lot of money in a short amount of time and go about your day and enjoy life. So anyways, to the price action that we've seen right here, giant sell-off on the opening candle at 9:35. We had jobs reports that came out here, if I'm not mistaken. We had created 173,000 jobs, and then something about inflation creates this thing that the market is going to go possibly raise interest rates or not lower interest rates, and it created this whole big panic sell-off, I think. And maybe not a panic sell-off is the right term for it, but we'll call it that for now because this is an absolute massive pullback on that. And even though it was only like 2%, it was still close to 20 points on SPY. So first candle's down, second candle's down, third candle's down at 9:45. I marked the 15-minute support line here, which is the bottom of the first 3 candles, and then I also marked the top of that. That gives me the opening range of the market, what it's doing there. So I took puts right here. On the close of the 9:55 candle, goes into the 10 a.m., which is my start of my session. I got a half off and break even trade. I had marked the top of these candles here, the top of these wicks here. I was looking for a firm close above this. Now the gentleman who teaches this and how I learned from, he took this candle here and he got a 3/4 trade and then stopped out. I did not take it. I had a little bit higher of a level marked. I did enter on this candle and I got stopped out. Not a big deal. I had already made money on this one. I took this candle here and I got a half off and break even when this one retraced me. So I had at this point, two half off and break evens in the morning session, and it was like 10:15, not even 10:15 yet. Took this candle here, got stopped out. I was sized down on that third one, not a huge deal. Then Then this is where the price gets really, really cool for the day. So then here comes my fourth trade. This candle, I had moved in real time my support to the top of these. I took this candle here above this wick. I got half off and break even, and then it continued up. That would have been a full trade had I not got stopped out at break even, but I went risk free, prioritizing a green trade over a stop out, which is what I like to do. You can always re-enter a trade team, but getting stopped out when price is giving you the draw that you're looking for, always take those profits, guys. Now, red candle comes, I take this, I got a 3/4 trade here, and then I got stopped on this green candle retracing, not a big deal. Then I stayed on for a little while past the session. And now, at this point, I had moved my support down into this region here with emphasizing real-time price action. I had moved underlying support into this region here. And this is where the trade gets really, really wild. And this is where the day just becomes magical. So I take this candle here. It immediately comes back and goes red on me. It does not stop me out. Doesn't even come close to a stop out. And then this big candle comes down. I took half off my positions. I got 3/4 off of my positions. I had my trailers and stragglers at break even right here. This candle here comes back, and I got my first set of my trailers stopped. So I was already at a full trade with really, really good profits here. Now this is what gets interesting. Now this candle comes back down, closes, and my stragglers are now super profitable, because remember I entered here, right guys? So when this thing is selling off, it retraces, I just let it be. This candle comes and happens. At this point, my stragglers were now well over $3. I purchased them at $1.48. They were well over $3 here. I had 25 of those straggling positions left, 25 contracts left. I sold 10 of them in this region here at like $2.60, $2.70, making over 100% on those. It continued down of that. It continues down here. And I sold another 10 later on in that day over here at excess of $5 a contract, guys. And then I set a stop loss at $4 on them. And then this candle in this region here at $13.35, it stops me out of my stragglers. Not a big deal. I made $4 from the last positions. I had 10 of those left that got hit there. So I'm sorry, I had sold 10, I had sold another 10, I sold 5, I had those left. Then all those got stopped out there, and I was out of my position. Had I had the crystal ball, none of us do, right? This thing continues down. At one point, those stragglers hit well over $8, guys. $8, $9, I think it was when I saw it on the Webull chart. Absolutely just massive amounts of money to be made there. That being said, I was still in that. And now I'm going to show you, excuse me, now I'm going to show you some of the other trades I took in the afternoon time, right? So here, we will go ahead and drag down our support line. And I had established this upper level of support here, right? And this is a really good time. And now, guys, like, keep in mind, I typically do not trade Friday afternoons. This was an exception to the rule with this massive sell-off we've been happening. And I was sized really small in this, so had I been sized normal, or it had been normal time frames, I would have probably capitalized and made a lot more money on it. However, I did not, because I was not certain what was going on here, but the market was in a sheer panic, sheer sell-off, fear factors up, the whole bit. I took this trade here, bottomless red candle. I take it, small amount of positions. I was in it with like 100 contracts. It retraces back up. My trade is immediately red. It does not go green. I stick with my risk management. I had my stop loss up here at the 744.68-ish region. It was a very wide stop. These were big candles, so 744.68. This candle's at 743.44. It's over $1 candle. So I had a very wide, like 25% stop. Size very small, protecting my green day, my green week that I'm having. And then this candle just flushes down. And then this trade here was another magical one. I got my trailers all the way into here, and I left another 15 stragglers here on these contracts, and I was able to ride those all the way down into this region here. And then I had moved my stragglers at that point into this little zone here to protect these out, and I was able to wait those out, and I was able to exit that on this candle here. I sold in full right about here at the 15.55. I think it was 15.57 when I sold it. This candle was really far down in this region. I sold in full, and I got those contracts exited for over $4.80 themselves. But just a massive, massive day of sell-off. There was a couple opportunities where you could have taken calls. This candle here comes green, this red hammer candle. You could have established a lower level for that. You could have got probably a 3/4 trade, provided the contracts were moving great. The VIX was through the roof. The implied volatility is through the roof. So it could have been hard to make money on calls on our Friday, but there was a couple opportunities that allowed you to catch those reversals. So, but lots of continuation down. I was looking for the most aggressive entries I could find into puts as the day progressed, with the mindset of some of these bigger red candles could have been the long draw on liquidity that the market will use, where it'll just find that liquidity pool that's down low from this giant bull run we've been having, and could have reversed and went back and took half the profits that we had made in the day and went back up to the PDL lows, or even farther into new all-time highs, because the market has been so strong. However, which is why I was using those wider stops, and the risk in my mind was worth the massive rewards that we were able to make. So guys, if you like this trade, you like the way this looks and how I do this, please comment below, like, subscribe, do all that stuff. And if you're interested from learning me, there is a link below, and you can sign up with this on a daily basis. We trade 9 times a week. Piles of people in the community. Lots of people have made life-changing money with it. So like, subscribe. See you guys on the next one.